So this is a just a quick story video about something that happened today. I got up very early. Um, Actually, I was up all night because that's what you get from years of working night shifts. To be awake all night becomes totally normal. So I was up at 5 o'clock. So I decided I'd go out for a bicycle ride. And there's a place up here called the Cinder Track, which it's an old disused railway line, and it runs from Scarborough all the way up to Whitby. And I've been meaning to go up there for a few weeks, so I eventually thought, okay, I'll go up there this morning. So I found the entrance and I cycled up this place a couple of miles. And what I didn't realise at the time was it's not just direct. Like every so often there are breaks in the journey when it comes to like a built up town, and you have to find out which way to go because you come to the end of the track and then there might be a couple of roads and then you've got to find it again. So I kind of lost it, and then I thought, okay, I've done a couple of miles. I'll go back and just cycle up the coast. So I went I went headed down towards the North Bay area, and there was an incredible sunrise coming up. It was like at the end of the Wicker Man, like where you see the sun coming up over the sea and the cliff. It was just like that, but it was so bright, the orb coming up. Um, it was amazing. Anyway, I went headed down that way to the North Bay, um, and the sea it was nearly high tide, and there was this amazing swell, and it was all grey, and there was no one about, like a couple of people walking that early in the morning, and it really looked incredible. Anyway, I cycled around by the castle, the bottom of the castle, and there are these huge limestone cliffs around the bottom of the castle, and it's full of seagulls. They're all nesting, making a hell of a racket. So I stopped to watch the seagulls, and the seagulls in Scarborough, they run things. They'll come and they'll take food out of your hand. They'll like jump on people. They're everywhere. I mean, it's really hard to getting used to it, and they're really they're quiet. Um, I don't know what the word. They're quite ruthless. They're quite ruthless in the way they forage, and they never stop. They go in all half the night. They never stop, and so yeah. So I'm looking at the seagulls, and then on the road, I noticed the other side of the road. There's like a baby seagull. You know, like when you've got like a chick. I mean, they're quite big 'cause it's a seagull, but it's like a chick when they've got that furry down instead of like the full feathers. It's like furry, and it's dead. And there's a fully grown seagull pecking at it, eating, taking its innards out, and there's this great big red gaping wound on this baby seagull. And this other seagull's just there, pulling at it, having a look at me, going back, pulling at it, and it was quite somewhat disturbing. I mean, obviously it's a seagull, so it's not going by. It's not going by. It has no time for human ethics, but it's like that feeling. It's like when you see a pigeon kind of pecking at some dog shit, but like it was more. It was quite not stomach churning, but it was quite a disturbing image. And anyway, that was I watched that for a while, and then I went home. And then later on, I came out to go back into town because there were a couple of things I'd forgotten to get, and I walked down to the up past um, the Grand Hotel on the front of Scarborough, which is an incredible building. Um, it's like something you'd see in Prague. It's an incredible piece of architecture. Um, it probably wouldn't stand out in Prague, but like in Scarborough, it's like, wow, this is. I mean, there's some incredible architecture in Scarborough anyway, if you look into the history of it. But this building's like it's quite something, and it used to be the the biggest hotel in Europe. Apparently, what I was reading out the front there a while back. But anyway, there's like these kind of statuettes, like at the top of the, I think, four or six, two women and two men, like Roman Greek type statues at the top of the hotel. And then also these, they almost look like nests, but I don't know what, because they're covered in bird shit, so you can't quite see it. It's almost like grapes, maybe, but they're like nests. And of course, the seagulls are all nesting in there, all along the top of the building. There's these. The seagulls have made a nest in each one of these things, and they're up there making all this racket and flying around. And again, as I'm walking past the hotel, which is like 10 minutes away from what I saw earlier, there's another dead baby seagull, like with all the quite big because it's a seagull, like downy feathers, and it's around. It's like its head is intact and attached to its body, but all around the neck had been pecked away and was just red. This red bony neck and like just red. And twice in a day. And I asked, there was a girl there, and I asked her, I said, is this normal? Are they doing this? Are they doing this because there's no food, because there's less tourists, because of the COVID thing? Is that what's going on? And she didn't know. She seemed to find it quite amusing, but she couldn't really explain if it was normal or not. And it was just the weirdest thing. And it just seemed weirdly symbolic. I don't know, of like just what's going on at the moment. It just seems, I don't know, one of those things you'd see it and forget about it. But I thought I could make a video about that, and someone might find it interesting. It's like Promethean, like Prometheus. You know, every day he gets this sort of carrion birds coming along and pecking him to death and eating him, and then the next day he has to go through the same thing. It just put me in the mind of that, and yeah, quite strange. Okay, that's that.